Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss tax authority, and specifically we're going to call it substantial tax authority. Substantial means serious. Now, why do we want to learn about tax authority and substantial tax authority? As citizens, as taxpayer, you want to know what is allowed and what's not, what's deductible, what's not. If you are studying for the EA exam, if you're studying for the CPA exam, those are rules you need to know as a tax professional. Therefore, the tax authority refers to the body of authoritative tax law that determines how an item is treated for federal income tax purposes. So these sources, these authorities answer fundamental questions such as whether an item is taxable subject to tax, allowed as a deduction, required to be included in income, or permitted to be excluded. All these rules that we need to learn about comes from the substantial tax authority. How about also my rights and obligation as a taxpayer? We have to refer to those substantial tax authority. Now, as far as we are concerned, we're going to break them down into three different components. We're going to have three sources of U.S. tax law that gives us this authority. And the three main sources are the legislative sources, which is law enacted by Congress, primarily contained in the Internal Revenue Code; administrative sources, guidance issued by the Treasury Department and the IRS, including regulation and other official pronouncement; and the judicial sources, court decision that interpret tax laws when disputes are litigated. And within the judicial sources, I will cover the audit process, something you need to be familiar with, whether you are an EA or a CPA exam candidate or an accounting student. Now, in this session specifically, I will focus on the legislative sources, then I will cover administrative and judicial sources in separate recording. But these sources together, they operate together. Congress creates the law, then the IRS administers the law and explains it. The court resolves any disagreement over interpretation and application. So notice we start by the primary source. We're going to call this the primary source, is the legislative. Then we have the administrative to administer, to explain it. Then we have the court resolving any disagreement over interpretation and actual application. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com, and let's build your tax foundation together.
So when we say the legislative sources, this is what it all begins. Think of U.S. Congress. So what qualify as legislative authority? The U.S. Congress, because we're talking in the U.S. The U.S. Congress legislative authority originates with the U.S. Congress. So when Congress passes a tax bill and it's signed into law, it becomes statutes, laws, like the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the big beautiful bill. So federal tax status are organized within the IRC, Internal Revenue Code. Now think of it, the Congress basically writes this code. So provisions of the IRC, Internal Revenue Code, address federal income, which sources of revenues are taxable, which are excludable, what is deductible, what's not deductible, anything about excise taxes or any other taxes. It's contained in the Internal Revenue Code that's enforced by we're going to see later, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Also, the Congress will write tax treaties that governs how income earned in foreign country is taxed. So how do we tax income earned in foreign countries? Like, we could have tax treaties with that other country, or we could have different rules. Now, why legislative authority is primary? Because those are the law. The statutes represent primary authority. They are enacted law, therefore they bind taxpayers, they bind the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and they bind the courts. Simply put, you start with the law, and the law is initiated, you guessed it, US Congress. Now, administrative and judicial interpretation, which we're going to be covering later, those they stand to explain and apply the law, not override it. So the law is the law, then how it's administered and how it's applied, we'll look at administrative guidance and judicial interpretation. Then we have something called the Congressional Committee Report. Now we have to understand what that is, because it sounds like congressional, then it's US Congress. What's its role? Those are explanatory documents issued during the legislative process. They are used when the tax law is ambiguous, it's not clear. So it explained, this report determined what was the congressional intent. What did the US Congress intended by that law? This is what we mean by Congressional Committee Report. While they are not the law, they are persuasive in interpreting unclear section of the Internal Revenue Code. So they are not law by themselves, but they help you interpret what was the intent of the law when it was written, what did Congress intended. And that's important because sometimes the law may not be very clear. Now, what we did in this session, we looked only at the legislative sources just to kind of set up the primary, the law. Then we're going to look specifically as CPA, as EAs, as tax professional. What we are concerned with the most, not the US Congress role, that's given to us. What we're concerned with is administrative sources, the guidance, and the judicial process when we have an issue, when we have an audit, how is it resolved? So in the next session, I would look at the administrative process, then we will look at the judicial sources and the audit process separately. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Which of the following best explain why the Congressional Committee Report, the CCR, are considered persuasive but not controlling? It means they are not the law. Now, if you're not sure what the Congressional Committee Report is, you could always ask the AI to help you explain it, and if it explains it, it's going to basically give you the answer, but you should not work this question unless you think you know what that is. So let's take a look at the answer choices. They are issued after the law is enacted. They represent administrative guidance. They explain the law but do not have the force of the law. They apply only to court cases. Let's eliminate the easy one. They're not applied only to court cases. They may be used by court but not limited to litigation, for sure. So what are they? The Congressional Committee Report, they explain what was the intent of the law. They're not the law. They don't have the force of the law, but they will tell you if there's any disagreement, this is what Congress meant, or this is what they intended to do. They wanted to collect revenue from this source, specifically from this source, so you understand the intent of the law. So the best answer choice is C, because the Congressional Committee Report explained the law but do not have the force of the law. They represent administrative guidance. No, they're not administrative guidance. We'll look at administrative guidance later on. They're part of the legislative process, congressional, not administrative. They are issued after the law is enacted. Timing does not determine the authority of them. They might be issued at the same time as the law. The timing is not an issue here. Therefore, the best answer choice is C. Now, if you'd like to let the AI explain the correct and incorrect answer in more in depth, you could ask the AI to do so. If you like this question, you can ask the AI to create another similar MCQ to test your knowledge. what should you do? Whether you are an EA candidate, CPA exam candidate, or an accounting student, visit Farhat Lectures for more resources, AI tools, lectures, podcast lessons, support by Farhat and the team. Best of luck, everyone. Invest in yourself, and God bless.